Hey, what's up? I am Coro AKA I Eat Zebra and welcome back to the channel. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes movie is finally here. The movie is an adaptation of the best-selling novel of the same name by Suzanne Collins. Any book-to-film adaptation will always come with changes. I will say out of all the Hunger Games books, this is one of, if not the most faithful of the adaptations. However, there are multiple changes from the book, some that make sense and others not so much. Granted, it is possible some of these changes may have just landed on the cutting room floor during editing, but not all of them. In this video, I'm going to break down 10 changes from the novel to the film. This video will go over spoilers for the books and movie, so let's get to it. Number 1. Felix Rapunzel. In the novel, Felix is the nephew of President Rapunzel, not his son. Also, he is very much alive at the end of the book and does not die. 2. Clemencia Dovecote. Her character is very different from the books, personality-wise. The movie gives her more of an arachne crane personality, which I didn't really care for as I really like Clemmy in the books. She also comes back after the snake bite, and is changed physically and mentally. She has scales on part of her body, and a Heath Ledger Joker type of tick with her tongue protruding from her mouth. She starts off angry with Coro, but they do have a semi-reconciliation by the end of the games. Number 3. Bombing of the arena. The tributes were not the only ones to die in the bombing, as mentors, the Ring twins, Apollo and Didi, die immediately alongside their tributes. Fellow mentor Guy Spreen succumbs to his wounds and dies later in the hospital, in lieu of Felix in the books. Androcles Anderson was injured and in the hospital. He does not die. Number 4. Snow saves Sejanus. Coro was at home with Grandmam, Tigress, and Ma Plinth when they got word of Sejanus in the arena. He received a phone call to get him out. He was not at the school and directly approached by Dr. Gall. However, Dr. Gall did make the decision for him to go in. Number 5. The Plinth Prize. The Plinth Prize was created as a direct result of Sejanus going into the arena during the games, as a means for Strabo to clean up his son's mess. It was not one of the Academy Awards usually given out to top-performing seniors. The Plinth Prize was to be awarded to the mentor whose tribute won the games. Number 6. The 10th Hunger Games. The deaths of the tributes during the games was changed by speeding up the timeline for the events in the arena. Most noticeably, there wasn't a bloodbath in the beginning of the games. Also, the snakes claimed less victims in the book than in the movie. For a more detailed dive into the fate of the other tributes, check out my How Did She Win video, going over the tribute deaths from the novel. Number 7. Coro AKA Hermione. I mentioned this a bit in my spoiler-free review. They gave Coro the Hermione treatment. In the Harry Potter series, Hermione Granger was given different lines or plot points to make her appear smarter, and usually to make Ron appear more of the comedic relief, which is unfair to Ron, but I digress. This film did the same with Coro on several occasions. For starters, the water drone idea was more so Lysistrata's than his. She also was the one that clocked the rabies, and she wanted Lucy Gray to win if Jessup couldn't, so she worked with Coro to send the drones willingly. He didn't scope out the arena before the games after the bombing incident, nor did he sneak in to meet Lucy Gray to give her a plan. They were allowed to meet their tributes a final time before the games. This is when he gave her his mother's compact. He also didn't put the rat poison in the compact. She put the poison in herself, gathering it from the zoo. The betting aspect was a class brainstorm idea, not just his, but he was elected along with Arachne Crane and Clemencia to write the proposal. This is the same proposal that ultimately leads to Clemencia getting bit by the snakes. Number 8. Sejanus in the Covey. The day at the lake, Sejanus joins Coro to meet Lucy Gray and the rest of the Covey. He makes friends with the Covey, and that wasn't the first time he actually met them. When Coro meets Lucy the day after the bit of a brawl at the Hob, while she's in the field riding the hanging tree, Sejanus went with him to meet up with her. When Coro went to privately talk to Lucy Gray, Billy Tope showed up. That's actually how he meets Billy Tope and gets roped into the rebel plot to break Dill out and make for the woods. Not at the Hob. Number 9, cut characters. Obviously, not all the characters from the book will be in the film, but a handful of them I wish could have been included, starting with one of my favorites, Pluribus Bell. He was a family friend of the Snows and helped them out a lot. He is the one that secured the apartment Tigress and the Grandmam moved into when they couldn't afford the penthouse anymore. He got Lucy's Gray's guitar for her performance before the games. He's also the one that told Coro about Casca and Crassus's friendship and their fallout, which they gave to Casca in the movie. He also is one of very few LGBTQIA+ characters in the book, and I would love to have seen him in the film. Another character I really enjoy is Lepidus Malmsey. He is a reporter for Capital News. He's the one at the zoo, not Lucky, when Coro falls into the monkey enclosure. Lucky and Lepidus's characters were merged together for the film, which does make sense. The Plinths weren't necessarily cut, but their role was significantly reduced, and we didn't get a single nod to Ma's cooking. Their choice to adopt Coro as their heir makes less sense in the movie than in the book, as we don't see their relationship with the Plinths. Back to some characters that were actually cut. Academy teachers Soteria Click, who is a communications professor and happens to be Coro's favorite teacher. Also, Agrippina Sickle, the gym teacher, who is Vipsania Sickle's aunt. Speaking of Vipsania, there is a serious reduction in mentor screen time compared to the tribute's increased screen time. As the novel is from Coro's POV, we get more from the mentors than the tributes. I get why they changed it a bit, but I feel like they still could have done more to include the mentors. Number 10, Treason. The way this goes down is different in the novel. Spruce dies of his injuries, not by being hanged, which makes more sense as to why he didn't throw Coro under the bus. Sejanus was not a part of the Mockingjay project and didn't know he was being recorded or even suspected it. Coro did this in an even more discreet way in the novel. He also warned Sejanus on multiple occasions not to continue down the path he was on, and the final straw was Sejanus planning on drugging other peacekeepers to break Dill out. Also, the recording was not played at the hanging, which in my opinion was such a sad addition to the execution of Sejanus. The fact he knew Coro was most likely the one behind it as they were taking him to the gallows is even more heartbreaking. There were more changes in the movie. Let me know if you want me to make a part 2 to cover them. I like the changes made in some instances, like getting more from the tributes, but a few I'm not as pleased with, like Clemencia's entire character being completely different and her not being brought back after being bit. She's one of my favorites, so I'm probably just being a little bit biased on that one. But what changes did you like or dislike? Let me know in the comments below. While you're at it, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for future uploads. See you next time. Bye!